Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from this month's sponsor, Ethico.
In the delicate arena of compliance, every conversation matters. Traditional methods can leave callers feeling unheard, but Ethico changes the game. Our empathetic interview technique reshapes compliance calls into powerful, compassionate interactions, ensuring no crucial detail is missed. It's about creating a conversation that matters, that resonates, that makes a difference. Be the change in your compliance approach. See the transformation for yourself at ethico.com/CPN. Book a demo, try our free ROI calculator, and explore the white paper by Tom Fox, The ROI of Compliance.
The Daily Compliance News for March 18, 2024, the Mike Lynch Goes to Trial edition. And that story comes to us from the Financial Times as Mike Lynch, one of the UK's most successful tech entrepreneurs, is set to go on trial in San Francisco 13 years after what U.S. prosecutors have called the largest fraud in the history of Silicon Valley. Lynch sold his software company to HP or Hewlett-Packard for $11.7 billion. And 2 years later, HP wrote off the entire investment at a loss of $8.8 billion, claiming that Lynch fraudulently increased the value of his company. Of course, HP knew that, and their due diligence had uncovered this, but they went ahead with the deal. HP has sued Lynch in civil court in the United Kingdom, and his prior CFO was sentenced to 5 years in jail, having gone to trial earlier. So things do not bode well for Mike Lynch. Next up, from the Wall Street Journal, Risk and Compliance Journal, Dylan Tokar and Mingy Sun reporting. Boy, that's a great duo. The CTA ruling in the National Small Business Union case has thrown into question the registry that Treasury Department is trying to set up. The ruling is only applicable in the Northern District of Alabama with the named plaintiffs, but there is, it's unclear what other companies, literally 32 million of them who are subject to this law, have to do and will do going forward. Next up from Newsweek, an article about alleged additional corruption by Jared Kushner and his family. He, of course, got a $2 billion investment from the Saudis after the Trump administration ended, and now he's trying to get a whole lot more. So is this corruption? Why aren't the Republicans investigating Jared Kushner? Well, that's pretty self-evident, but more for Kushner. And our final story comes to us from Bloomberg, which reviews the Altice corruption scandal, which came out of Portugal, but is now in many other companies. And what's next? Well, faith in the company is being tested as borrowers are looking to cut costs and the stake, others are circling, sharks are circling to purchase the company. It's still looking at the highest levels of the company to determine how far up the extent of corruption went. But this is a major corruption scandal in Portugal, in France, and it'll be interesting to see if there are FCPA implications from Altice. As I mentioned at the start of this podcast, this month's sponsor for the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico. Have you ever wondered how to show the ROI of your compliance program? Have you struggled with the budgeting process, getting the funds you want for your compliance program? Well, I've partnered with Ethico to put together a white paper on the ROI of compliance, which shows you not only how to demonstrate ROI, but also how to speak finance when you're sitting across from the CFO with your budget proposals. Check out the website and get the white paper. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.